The designers need to be hugged, not squeezed. This is what Chapelle said about 7 years ago in an interview, but I'm pretty sure she would say the same today. Called the fairy godmother of fashion, Chapelle is a Belgian investor and entrepreneur. And now she is the CEO of newly relaunched brand Poiret. Trained in the medical and pharmaceutical field, she was a pharma executive when she decided to start nurturing creative talents. She is behind the great careers of Anne de Meulemeester and Haider Ackermann, among others. To do this, she set up 2 companies that she still directs in Antwerp that create, produce, and distribute fashion brands. Her approach to the creative people is smooth and often called angelic. Her approach to business, on the other hand, is very firm and decisive. She often says, "I'm not a fashion person, but I understand fashion." Today, Anne is considered among the top players in a changing industry. Humble and secretive, she probably would not be recognized in a restaurant in Paris by regular customers, but the respect and love she commands in Antwerp especially, but in the fashion world in general, are well known by designers and executives alike. I'm very happy to be able to talk career and her vision with Chapelle here at SHOWbiz. Welcome to SHOWstudio, Chapelle.
Thank you.
And thank you for being here. Let me start from the very beginning. So we all know and we all read that you studied tropical medicine and pharmaceutical whatever, that you were a pharma executive, and then one day you're like behind the success of Anne de Meulemeester. What I miss is, how did that happen? How did Anne know that your door was open?
First of all, Anne and me, we were friends. Okay. Our 2 children, our 2 boys, were in the same classroom with the same nannies when they after birth. So they were like friends. And at a certain moment, she had some trouble, and she knew I was in business, and she knew I had a rational mind. And so
you had a restless mind?
A rational mind.
Oh, rational mind, yes.
A rational mind. Maybe also a restless mind, but at that time more rational. And she came to ask me for help, in the sense that I don't know what to do anymore. Can you please come and look at it? And
so, sorry, had she just started? How old was her company?
She started in '86, and I joined in end of '93, '94, and that was already like, she was already busy like 8 years. And
so she was already successful. She was already Anne de Meulemeester.
She was Anne de Meulemeester. We had at that moment, we had 10 clients, so it was very, very small. But I think that for sure, from the moment Anne left the academy, she was a personality. So it's not me who formed her personality. She's herself. She's her power. I only supported her. You know, like I'm the backbone. I'm nothing more than that in the life of...
Well, support, I mean, I imagine support means financially, and of course you became the owner, probably major shareholders of the company. Yeah. But support and knowing you a little bit, I imagine, means also very much emotional support. Yeah. And as you said, I'm a rational mind, so maybe the company needed structure. So what?
I think at that moment she was virtual bankrupt, which is reality, and it needed restructuring and a really strong hand to go through the difficulties. We needed to be known worldwide, because the first thing I did was taking a plane, going to New York and asking the people at Barney's and Bergdorf Goodman, who is Anne de Meulemeester, and they couldn't even pronounce it. So it was all for me trying to understand, how far are you in this company, who knows you? And basically I came to the constatation that abroad it was known, but not very, you know, nobody really could pronounce, or it was like, it didn't sell yet. It was at that stage. So So yeah, that was all a school for me to learn who is this woman, which I appreciated as a friend, and what can I do for this business, because the initial agreement was that I was staying 2 months to restructure and bye-bye.
And here we are 20 years later.
26 years later, I'm still running the company, and I'm very happy because I learned a world of different, a creative world, which is so intriguing and nice that it was worth my effort to understand and to stay and to give all my support.
It's very interesting when you say I learned, because you were having a totally different job. By the way, I read somewhere you said I was wearing Chanel and I was going to the hairdresser every week, so that changed my madame style completely. But you say I learned because actually you said I went to New York and asked everybody, but they didn't know who you were. So you went to Barney's and said, who's the head buyer, and they introduced you?
No, I asked the people on the floor, the salespeople on the floor. I think those people are one of the most important, you know. Like, if those people don't know what they have on the rack and to have to sell, how can I as a consumer understand what is going to be given to me?
Totally.
So that is where I started. So I try to go the other way around. Like, I still do that today. I turn everything upside down and I go from the back and I look what can we offer and how is it perceived, because the perception is everything. Huh? It is in because we bring some emotion to the world. This is what is creativity. It is a combination of perfection in the eye, beauty and emotion, and emotional additional value. If this you can explain and you can sell, that is magnificent. So that is what I wanted to try to understand. If those people can explain me who are those designers, I will understand much better what they have to tell. And then after I started to study, I went to the books. I said, who is Yamamoto? Who is Marta Margiela? Who is Dries? Who is all these masters in the world, this Miyake, Alaya, you know, I did them all.
You mentioned probably the one that needed to be mentioned.
Yeah, but for me, it was the masters. I mean, I wanted to look to the hands of those people. Making clothes is something else than bringing emotional value to, or a story to a cloth. You know, there is product and there is something else, which is creativity. And that difference I try to understand already for these 26 years. And today it is changing again. Huh? So in those years we did many roads. So there was the 80s, there's the 90s, there is the 2010s, and the 2025s are coming. So I want to be up there and understand.
Yeah, we're going to go into the difference soon.
All is to learn on the floor.
Exactly. So you went there, you listened to the people, and then you looked at the fashion industry from the eyes of the creative people. Yeah. So you didn't try to understand how the business worked.
No, I tried to understand from the creative point of view what somebody can bring. Huh? It's like a painting. You paint and you bring something. You bring a value, you bring a story. And then how do I sell the story? Because they have to believe my story. It's not like I need to know numbers, I need to do figures, because it's not about figures. It's bringing or transmitting a story, a lifestyle, a kind of thought, sometimes even a philosophy of life. You know, it is many, many, many stories that those creative people bring. If you understand them, you can sell the story correctly and bring it to the end consumer in a correct way, because there is also transmissions on the way possible. Huh? And I wanted to avoid any transmission until the end consumer.
What do you mean by transmission?
When you sell the story to a merchandiser.
You mean translation?
Translation.
It changes the meaning, yes. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. No, I just wanted to make sure that's what you meant. And so then I'm very interested in your path because it's quite extraordinary. So then you said, okay, I'm not going to be a pharma executive anymore. Did you have a job or did you own a company?
No, I had a lot of jobs. I was executive in a bio company, in a biopharmaceutical company, who was in You know, I come out of tropical medicine,
yes.
Then I did neonatology, which is like premature babies. I did intensive care for...
So you're a doctor, you're a medical doctor?
No, I'm a nurse, from base, and then I'm specialized in tropical medicine, then I'm specialized in neonatology, and then I went to nuclear science, because what intrigued me is the research, and that is where I find the connection point with the creative mind. So if I look to my path from the beginning, from the tropical, it is niche market. From the neonatology, it's niche market. It's all about research and development for the life. At the end of the day, that is what it was. In the nuclear business, it is the same. It is trying to find isotopes which are used for detection of illnesses. And then when I look to the creative, it is chemistry. It is all about research and development. It is all about finding a balance, finding a good balance between ratio and emotion. You need a product. You cannot invent a sleeve or a shirt with 5 sleeves. There is a limit. The limit is the human corpse. So the anatomy is your limit. And then you have your freedom of mind, and you can fly around it. So all that is, yes, it is freedom within a framework. And for me, that is also R&D in any kind of form, from medical, from the chemistry where I was in, from the creative minds of fashion, and I'm still in the biochemistry. Don't think I'm only in the fashion. I have also a big part of contribution in a biochemistry development today, which is trying to find biopolymers from a natural base. So trying to get out of the fossil oil element. So I'm still busy with chemistry. It's not. So
you're like in the board, or you're a shareholder of a company?
I'm a shareholder and the president of a company who is developing in a joint venture with a big group biopolymers for completely natural. So
yeah, that's very interesting.
It's all creative people.
And I also believe that real innovation is coming from there. As you said, you know, a shirt cannot really have 5 sleeves. Probably someone will do it because they don't know what to create anymore, but that's not the reality. But it's about finding a way to have new materials and fabrics without destroying the planet or without killing animals. And you know, we've got leather produced in labs and diamonds produced in labs. So I believe that that's the way to go. So when you have both brains, it's quite amazing.
Yeah, it's an advantage to be able to love the creativity and love the ratio, because that's actually the combination. I love the numbers.
The winning combination.
And I love the creativity. So I adore all these young people with this crazy minds, and they have ideas. And sometimes there is somebody I believe. You know, I need to believe, because that is very important for me. When a creative person is coming to me, I need to believe their story.
Yes.
If I want to support them, if I want to be behind them, that's the rational part in myself. Like, okay, do I believe your story? Do I bite it? And can I make something out of it? Because that's the most important.
Absolutely. And you also very often mention the word emotion and the word, I mean, belief and emotion. So do you agree that even business needs creativity, needs an emotional and creative? I mean, of course you're going to say yes, but can you tell me how you teach the people around you? You probably have lots of employees in all your different companies and activities. I mean, do you try to surround yourself by people that understand that?
I do understand. I'm not trying to surround me with people a priori with emotion or without emotion. I surround myself with good people. I surround myself with people who want to succeed and who adore creative minds. But be it the bankers, be it my advisors from law, they have to understand my creative people, because if they don't understand, they'll start laughing with us, because You know, we are like in a very artificial world for all these rational people. So for me, they need to understand what we are doing. Otherwise, I cannot work with them. Very simple. If they understand, they appreciate, and they do all what they can to support. Yeah, I think we have, in a creative environment, first to understand the emotion of our creative director. This is important. If we don't understand them, we cannot have a
support them.
Yeah, support, or we cannot bring something from us to them. And it's never done alone. There is a mind who thinks about the bigger story, the book. I always say it's like a book. And then there is letters, and then there is words, and then there is paper, and then there's ink, and there is many things to make the book. There is the one who makes the beautiful drawing or photo. So all these people together are actually part of one
big
bird. Yeah,
different instruments.
Yeah, and that is at the end the collection you deliver.
So how do you function with your creative director? Let's talk about Anne again a little bit, but then we can see the difference with another personality like Haider, or now, you know, your new baby. But so how do you function with them? Do you talk about their collections, or do you talk about the bigger picture? Do you tell them your business model that you have in mind? Do they know how is it doing? Do they know the bottom line?
Well, they always know everything, but I need to know first who they are. So I take a few months to talk with them as people. I want to understand what is the weakness in their person. That's the most important thing for me, because everything starts with them. If I know who they are as people, and I always say I need to read the eyes, and through the eyes I can read the heart. If I know this, what they have and they carry in themselves, and I know the weaknesses, I can find the people surrounding them with the strength what they miss. Because strength they have, we all have strength, but the most important is that we find the counterpart in our weakness, because then we get even more strong. So that is what I try to do, and this takes time to talk, to drink, to have fun, I have only one ear. That's why in the photo with I Ching you see my ear is the most important. It's the eye and the ear. I observe and I listen.
Yeah, that photo, there is a photo of Anne with her new creative director on Poiret, where it looks as if she's kissing you, but actually I think she's whispering something in your ear.
And I'm listening,
Yeah, but what about you? I mean, what about the other way? They also have to trust you and listen to you. Do you manage to make them? Because they say that creative people often, they're a little bit narcissistic or self-centered. How does it work?
It's true, but I like it. It's a kind of, it's a very weird relationship we have. And it's more like the balance of good and evil all the time. And that's why you need to talk all the time. It is like a relationship, it's like a marriage, it's like a friendship in a way. But yes, I need to listen. They listen to me, but I only give comment when I think it's relevant. I will never comment on the creativity at itself. If they want to use pink, and I know that it's not the day of pink, I still let them do. I'm not interacting in their choices. I'm only interacting in the rational part. So that is a very, very different.
Which would be like the budget, or?
Which would be the budget, which would be like, why are you making 20 coats when with 5 it's enough? You know? But I would not choose the coats. I would just say, reduce it. You can make more tops or more dresses, or maybe it's nicer to have a beautiful shoe. You know, like all that rational, I interfere, but on the creative part, I let them do, because must be sufficient when I talk to them, I understand them, I know where they go to, and I don't have to like it, I have to be able to support it.
And to know that it's correct.
That it is right and correct for what we are aiming for.
Yeah, it's very interesting because I also believe that companies that are doing well, usually they have a very good marriage between you know, the rational mind, as you call it, the CEO, the managing director, and the creative director. And one of the examples for me were Angela Arendt and Christopher Bailey, and we've seen what happened, or we see, you know, CEOs that bring their favorite creative director with them. So I believe that the dialogue between the two is important, but then you have two very different personalities, and Anne chose you also because she knew you. Did Haider know you, or he only knew of you?
I think he only knew of me. He indeed came to ring my door, and when he entered, I didn't believe that he was Haider. That's really true. I asked his passport because...
Meaning you didn't recognize him?
I didn't recognize him because on one other meeting there was been a guy who represented Haider Ackermann, and he was white. So it was like, I was like...
It wasn't the same person.
Yeah, it was not the same person. So I was like, whoa, who are you? And then, yeah, of course, we started to talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. And
where was his career at that time? Was it just out of school? Had he started Haider Ackermann?
He started, and he was also doing not well. He was busy, like, I think 4 years. He was also in trouble, and so he came to find me, yeah.
You are the fairy godmother of these people.
I try to be good for the one who deserves, in the sense that, that's why I said earlier, I need to believe their hands. I need to believe that what they say is also true. And in every designer or creative director or a person, there are talents. You just need to localize them and to say, okay, that's the one I believe, and I go for it. It doesn't always succeed. Huh? I mean, we had Dirk Schoenberger also, huh? And Dirk, he was, I think, before his time, so there was no success for him. Now he is a big director at Adidas. It's fantastic. Huh?
But what happened with this company?
We did the company together, and then we stopped it because it was not working. And we really tried and tried, and I adore him as a great person. So you see, it's not always because you understand and you adore that the product that they make is also right in the time. So you have also something like, when are you coming with your idea? You can be too fast, or you can be too late, and you can be right on the mood and go on the wave. So it's not only depending on their talents or abilities, it's also the story they bring. Is the time ready for accepting
too early
them?
Can be as bad as too late.
Yes, exactly.
And some creative people, that's their problem. They're misunderstood. Some people, they launch something and the press is like, what's that? And then 3 years later, everybody does that. Exactly. But, you know, it's also a talent to be right on l'air du temps.
Of course.
To be right in the right place. Okay, and then fast forward. You're Anne Chapelle, you're adored by these people, you're a great investor, the fairy godmother. And then someone else has come and knock at your door, and it's not a designer, it's another investor who wants to relaunch a brand. So Poiret has been dormant for 50 years, 60 years. It's not been around much long. 1903, then he went to the war, and then he came back, and then
bankrupt.
Chanel came around and said, I will dress people for your funeral. That wasn't a very kind thing to say. But she was right, and so Poiret has done a lot in a short time. Yeah. Now it's been bought. I mean, you will help me mentioning names and things. They're so complicated. So by the South Korean heiress of the Samsung dynasty. And so they said, we want Anne Chapelle, rightly enough, to be our CEO. First question, how it is for you now to be a top executive, but employed in a way I mean, maybe we can't say that, but it's not your company at all,
No,
right?
it's not my company, but I do feel as it is. So I don't really make that difference. It is also not that question what has been asked to me. It was more like, can we revive this beautiful brand? And are you willing to do that? And I found it a big challenge if I could do that and try to do it with young people and to give these young people a boost that it is possible to revive an old brand and that it can be relevant today. So that was a challenge. So I think I took more the challenge and my appreciation for Mrs. Chung, because I really appreciate her as a person.
But did you know her, or you met her?
Yes, no, I know her already 10 years, so it's not something that came up
like this.
Like this. No. I know her, and we have been talking many times together. So I just believe it was a right match also there, and that's why I wanted to do it for her. I'm very happy with that question, because until today it was always in the dark when you relaunch a brand, and I didn't want that to happen, because I imagined that one day we look to all these masters and is it always for nothing that they have been existing? No, you know, it was like they're not there for nothing. We have to learn from them. They gave us a package of possibilities, of thoughts, of dreams, and let's take those dreams and bring them to the new generation, but in a modern way. So that's a little bit what was my mind when she asked me. I was like, okay, can I do that? Yes, I will do it. And then I took time to think how I'm going to do that. Of course, you make a business plan, and we're right on top of our business plan, so I'm very proud. But also the content of how to revive was very important for me. And
Sorry.
It was also a research of 3 months, very intense research with the creative team, and really the floor was full of images and books, and we were reading for each other, one to each other. And
so you participated in that actively?
Yes, actively, because I really wanted to understand who was that man, that imposing big man in his big shoes, the boots, because this man brought the boots to the woman. Huh? So it's not only the corset he took off, but he gave us boots, which at that moment was only for men. Huh?
Absolutely.
So it was intriguing and interesting. So yes, I did the research with them, and then to close down after 3 months, to wrap it up and put it in a cupboard. And then we went 1 week all separate on a rest. We came back, and what was left in our mind was the most important. All the rest was ballast. So what did we learn? What was left in our brain that we read as the DNA from that man. And with this, we started to create.
So, but step ahead, did you have the right to choose your designer?
Yes, everything, the whole team.
Okay, so since you've been the investor for other people, you knew exactly how to make people function correctly. And so you could dictate in a nice way, but your condition, like I choose the team, I choose the business model, I manage the way I want, or,
no,
I mean, are you really free?
Yes. There was not even one time we talked about that part. So it is just like, do you want to do that? And here, go ahead. And then, I mean, I'm a free spirit myself. I'm not a person who can...
But I know, but did they know?
Yeah, they knew. I think they choose me for that reason. Yeah. I think they choose me for that reason. So that is also what I do today. I'm free in approaching, in bringing it, and bringing those, because we have 20 people under 30. It is a challenge
like
on itself.
SHOWstudio.
Yeah, but it is fantastic because there are 16 different nationalities from all over the world working in one atelier together on one brand, which was actually a brand who brought the world to Paris in a different way. But we brought the people together to work on his brand to bring it to the future. So it was, the spirit is the same, bringing the world to a platform, but with people this time, and not with apes and parrots and, you know, bringing everything from abroad. No, we were like thinking together from the world. So that was the beauty, what I could do. So it was like, okay, who was he that came out of the DNA? Yeah? It was like, okay, he brought so many exotic things to Paris. He brought, you know, the kimono, whatever. He brought many liberations for the woman. And then our question was, how can we bring, first of all this inspiration to the table, and how are we going to bring a new liberation to the youth? Because that's our purpose of thinking. And so that was the discussion on the table with all these people together, and it's a fantastic journey we were walking. Huh? It is very beautiful. It's not only making a collection, it is really intensive growth with the young people, maturing their personalities, their hands, their way of thinking. It's for me, it's fabulous also. Yeah. Different, but
yeah, that's very interesting, because one of the things that have been said about Poiret, the man, was that he was a visionary also in business. So you're probably the perfect fit for this. And so my next question would be, today, it's obviously, as we said before, everything is changing, and you know, you've got people that are more creative people in the pop culture coming to the fashion industry with less of a training in actual fashion, a little bit like you, but more of a training in the life of creativity and whatever. And so, and these people will not only produce collections, but they will also change the way collections are communicated or presented and sold. So what is your vision? I mean, do you feel that that's also a great challenge? Do you want to follow the status quo? I mean, probably I don't want to tell your secrets, but I want to understand, how do you approach this new world in front of you with a new brand which actually existed before and was very adventurous?
I think what I do is I work with young people. I mean, young people are the new minds. It's for me very important to surround myself with the people between 20 and 30, and I listen to them, and I listen what is their world, and that is where I put my business focus then on. Okay, what do they want? What is their world? What are they busy with? What do they expect? Where are they dreaming of? And my business model is just placed on what they want. So it is basically adapting your world or your know-how to the new generation. It's not the new generation has to accept my business plan. No, 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 no. It's the other way around, always. Because if I don't understand them, my business doesn't make sense. So I need to go on the online. I need to go on the internet. I need to be on the Instagram. I need to know what drives these young people, because those people today are the buyers in 10 years from now. They will all become workers, and they are earning money, and they're going to buy in 10 years from now what we are creating today, because then it will be mature. So I need to go 10 years up front already. Yeah? It is the way to do, because if I don't prepare myself to be completely ready when they are ready, I miss the boat.
You make it sound so easy, and yet, unfortunately or fortunately for you as a competitor, there are still so many people in the industry that don't understand that you can't hold on to what was and the way it was when you and I were starting. And I just, for me, it's science fiction. That, I mean, how? Yes, I mean, so how do you understand that? What do you think about the fashion industry today?
Oh, Oh, that's a very,
but that's important for
that's
me.
a very difficult question. It's again the love and hate. In a way I love it, and in a way I hate it. So it is always the same balance for me. There are beautiful hands in this young generation, in this streetwear approach. There is a beauty, but also those people who are today the youngsters in the hoodies. In 10 years from now, they will need something else, and we have to be prepared for that. So there is always question and answer in every generation and in every moment in time. So I think that our strength in fashion and in any creativity is every day going forward, every day looking back to what was yesterday, but looking to what is the opportunities for tomorrow. If we cannot do that, we think we invented the wheel, and we didn't, you know. We are applied art. We're not art. Fashion is applied art. So I think we need to make the human stronger in the sense of perception. If I make garments, my designers, whoever it is, because I also don't judge there, I can support somebody who makes beautiful glamour, but I can support somebody who makes dark, you know, I don't have to like it. But if we can understand that this is everything has a value, everything is important for now and for the future, we are always on a good way. We are not doing something exceptional. We are telling an exceptional story, and the people who buy, they have to like our story, and they have to feel good with our story. And we only make them stronger when in the morning they dress themselves and they feel like strong, and they go out with confidence. That's what our additional value is. So we brought something to a human person at the end of the day.
To make them happier? More beautiful?
Feel more confident. I think it is what are clothes doing to you? When you're 16, they give you a kind of attitude. When you're 18, you want to be the most beautiful girl because you want to find your lover. When you're 20, you know, in every stage of your life, it means something else for you, and you dress differently. So there is for everybody always potential. We are millions of people on this earth. So also, when you say earlier competition, I never feel I have competition. I think that really it is for me all comrades. It's all people who adore to dream and to bring dreams to other people who can love our dreams. So it's not. This is maybe the emotion you need to understand. After, it's business, yes, of course. I always tell them you can spend €0.50 when you earn $1. So that's bottom line for me.
So every so penny you spend, you need to bring 2.
Yeah. That's normal. Huh? It's not. That's the rational point. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense. And I also tell them, if nobody buys you, you have no reason to exist. I'm sorry. It is also very rational. If you have followers, if you have people who buy you, fantastic.
But do you give them time to have people decide?
I give them 3 seasons. Yeah, I think that's enough.
So if in 3 seasons it doesn't work, well, let's not go there, because I'm sure it will work. But no, my other question would be...
You have to make it working. This is important.
Yeah, not you alone. You're
if I believe them, I go to fire for them, and then I will crack every nut for them. Yes.
They're very lucky to have you, I suppose. So are you planning to change the business model? Are you going to sell through wholesalers, open stores, doing the usual thing?
Poiret?
For Poiret.
Yeah, for Poiret we are going, you know, I think that I want to embrace the traditional way and the new way.
Okay.
I think there is a fusion of both, like we had 10 years ago in the kitchen. You had the fusion of all the kitchen. So I think there is a fusion of both, and I think it is necessary to reach the population of the world. So windows on the street are important for me. There is in my head nothing that succeeded without visibility. you know? It's not only internet or Instagram.
No,
or you don't reach anything. You cannot become known. So you need everything. You need retailers, you need wholesalers, you need the multi-brand stores. I adore them because that's where you discover the most. I like department stores because it's a different approach. It's a more anonymous approach than in a retail store. It's more it's more one-to-one. So I think all these levels of retail have a reason to be there, and I want to embrace all of them. I want to.
And the season, the gender, I mean, will you drop seasons the way it's asked with pre and main, and then so you okay to stick with that?
I think that
because I believe that will change too, but
yeah, that will change too. It's just a matter of who will change first and how. I think that the most appropriate would be 2 collections a year. That would be the most appropriate. If everybody does that, it would be fantastic because we would have more air to breathe, we would have more time to create.
Exactly.
And we would have less pressure to bring stupidity to the table. So I would adore everybody who would go back to winter and summer, or like 2 seasons a year. It is nice. Then it's our task to think how long, because this is a little bit why all these pre and intermediate collections started, is because the time on the floor of sales is too short. And it is also normal if we sell in October, the shows of women are in October, and we have already in the next month of May sales, we have to produce in the meantime. We have to produce fabric, we have to produce garments, and then we have to deliver. There's 2 months left to sell. That's not right.
That's not enough.
Exactly. So it will be a matter of all of us putting together the days when it would be relevant to have shows. And not to break each other's necks with I'm faster and before you and consume the budget another time before. I discovered that now they have pre.
Yes, someone told me I'm designing pre.
It's interesting. So what is the pre and what is then the after? So I think I'm going to go for the after.
So why aren't you going to be the leader of this change?
Because I'm very small, and I don't need to. We're small ants. I always tell my people, don't forget who we are. We are free minds. First of all, most important, we are independent houses. I'm a small investor. I don't need to be a leader. There are bigger people who could afford consultancy from anybody to come to an idea. I prefer to work in my areas, and I don't need to have but I think it would be nice if we all could talk as normal people together, what would be nice for the creative minds, because they're not lemons. They're creative people. They have to start from white papers every season. That's what I ask from my creators. Start from a blank paper. I mean, if you look to the literature, people write 1 book a year. My father is writing 1 book a year, and he tells me how exhausting it is.
Yeah, some take longer.
And it is, and we need to perform every 3 months. We need to have a collection, and it is intensive. I know how intensive it is if you mean it right and well, So I would like to go to 2, and then to see when it's the best moment. It's definitely not October and March. It is probably January and June, because then
like the
we have
season.
Yes, that wonderful if we can be together with the men.
I think it's happening.
One family, men and women and whatever. It's fantastic if we could do that. But it will need adjustment of everybody. Yeah? It is not. It will be less travel for everybody. It will be less more preparation in the head of the season. And maybe we need to find another system that we can deliver every 2 months garments to the store.
Exactly,
instead
the
of
drops
how to buy, how we deliver. You know, it would be less pressure.
This is the collection, and it will come.
Exactly.
Maybe that would be and that's a little bit what Moncler has done now with the Genius collection. He said there are 8, and we drop them when we're ready, and I think that's a very good thing. But let's go back before concluding a little bit to Anne Chapelle, the woman, and so now you've got your pharma companies, your Antwerp company, and Poiret, which I guess it's based in Paris, and so. How do you live? Do you live on a train, on an airplane?
No.
How do you dedicate days to companies, or do you do what's needed when it's needed?
I think I do what is needed when it's needed. First of all, that is important. I don't have time. I mean, I love what I do, so I can work in the morning or in the night. It doesn't really matter. I'm there when it's necessary. When my creative directors, they need me, I'm there. That's the most important. Then the company is, there is a structure in a company, and I trust all my people I place there as responsibles. And they are mature people who run since 20 years or 25 years with me, so everybody it's like a well-oiled machine, so I can trust the people. That's for me important. And then I go 2 days in Paris, 2 days in Antwerp, or I go 4 days in Paris or 4 days in Antwerp. I'm going up and down. I come to London, I go to Korea, I go to America, I go to Japan now next week, so it's okay.
Yeah, I understand that. My only question is, Poiret is not a well-oiled company, and it's new, it's a new baby, it cannot walk yet. So
it is already on a very well-oiled machine, I can tell you.
So do you have managers that act? I mean, do you need to be there and control people, or how?
No, I think that the teams who are there is creative team. The production is done by Antwerp, so it is the big machine is doing all the production for everybody. So each.
So your company,
yeah. So you have the creative cells. Each time creative cells, it's pure creativity. So those cells I'm driving myself. I'm there when they need me. They, in themselves, they are responsible people. They are all little cells in the creative bubble. So you have the designers, shoe designers, accessory designers.
So you already have all those.
Yes, all these departments are working together. You have the technical collection, the people who make everything three-dimensional. You have an atelier with all the stitchers and the pattern makers. It's all already, it's a well-run machine already.
Yeah, because it is attached to a well-run machine, so it has the fascination of a startup with the business or the structure of a
well-run machine.
Yeah, but it's small still. You're keeping it quite small.
There are 22 people now in the creative cell.
Not that small. Yeah.
That's a normal cell.
Yeah.
Anne has 27 people, and Hydra has 21 people. So it's a very comfortable creative cell. Yeah.
And were you happy with the result of the first collection?
Very, very happy. I think for the first season we have 50 doors, and the very most important doors in the world. So
worldwide.
Yes, I'm very happy. America, everywhere. So yes, I'm super proud.
And is it because people believe in you, or because the creative cell did a good job?
I think it is a combination of different things. I think it is a combination of the creative people. If they did a good job or not, I think they did an intensive job. And I always will judge them the third season, not the first season. So for me, my eye has to be, or the eye has to be perfect after the third season. Then I know if I'm right in the hand. I think we have a good commercial director. He's a very gentle and open person. And I think that, yeah, I bring some trust to the people, but also the mother company in Korea, they give trust to the people. It's not a one-day fly. So I can compare it with really youngsters from the academy who start, which I also keep motivating. And when these kids are coming to Paris, it's a very different picture. I mean, if they have 5 customers after a week, I tell them, congratulations, because you can eat boteramekes with choco, you know, you can eat bread and chocolate.
And chocolate.
So I think it is, of course, due to the whole family who is behind, and it gives security, that people also feel more secure. It's not only me, it's the combination of everything.
Of
because if I bring a youngster, we don't have this response. So I cannot say that it's only me. You know, it's the whole combination of everything. And of course, we have been working 1.5 years to prepare it. It's not a collection.
Yes, so the moment we read about that,
it was already one. Yeah, I was already busy 1.5 years, so it's not
good.
Didn't come.
Well, I'm very grateful that you found the time to come here.
Thank you.
And I wish you all the success possible.
Thank you.